In today's news, police investigate several officials over a sex trafficking case. The public health minister wants to get rid of the Thailand Pass, and Dove launched a campaign to end mandatory haircuts in Thai schools. All this is coming up in today's program.
Could you please take a moment to click the like and subscribe button? It helps us way more than you know.
You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest top stories in Thailand and beyond. The show is made possible by our supporters, and today we'd like to thank Ambient Mopar for becoming a Thaiger member. My name is Jet Gunther, and in our first story, after several raids this week, police are investigating several officers over a sex trafficking case in the southern Thai province of Surat Thani, which includes the popular tourist islands of Koh Samui and Koh Phangan. The Director General of Thailand's Department of Children and Youth has been charged for hampering an investigation into a trafficking ring. Several other officials found to be involved in the ring include the chairman of a local savings cooperative and a deputy chairman of Phum Phin District Administrative Organizations Council. Apart from the DCY Director General, 18 suspects are wanted for child sex-related charges. These charges include colluding to operate a child sex trafficking ring and luring minors into prostitution, among others. One individual, so far only identified by the name AIM, allegedly assaulted children at a shelter to pressure them into prostitution. A police lieutenant general of the National Anti-Corruption Commission told reporters that AIM was charged with physically assaulting a minor, malfeasance in office, and obstructing a police investigation. Sex trafficking of both children and adults is a notable, ongoing problem that plagues Thailand. In March, police raided a bar in Bangkok's Nana area and found that at least 3 teenage girls were offering sexual services. 2 are 15 years old and another is 14. A woman at the bar was arrested on child sex trafficking charges. The alleged agent was charged with human trafficking, sex trafficking, encouraging children to commit crimes, and opening a bar without a permission. Also in March, police in Cha Cheong Sao, a province east of Bangkok, arrested a woman suspected of tricking another woman into working as a prostitute in the United Arab Emirates. The alleged victim told authorities she was invited to work as a masseuse at a spa in Dubai. The woman who invited her was called Miss Lily and promised her a 40,000 baht monthly salary. After she flew to Dubai in September, Miss Lily confiscated her passport and ordered her to give clients sexual services. Thailand's public health minister wants to get rid of the Thailand Pass, but don't get too excited yet, as Anutin Chanvirakul is proposing scrapping it only for Thai returnees, at least for now. According to a Bangkok Post report, the health minister says he will submit the proposal to the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration. However, when asked whether the emergency decree should also be revoked, Anutin says this is a matter for the PM to decide, adding that he personally sees no problem with keeping it in order to support existing disease prevention measures. Officials continue to praise the seemingly more convenient Thailand Pass process now that a requirement for PCR testing on arrival has been lifted. Dr. Sumani Wacharasin from the CCSA says that between April the 29th and May the 4th, 213,958 travelers registered on the system, with 94.8% approved. She adds that Thailand's daily new infection rate continues to drop and the number of patients hospitalized with severe COVID symptoms is also falling. According to government spokesperson Traisuri Taisuwanakul, Anutin has been monitoring Thailand's COVID situation following the Songkran holiday and noted that daily new case numbers continue to drop. Traisuri says this looks promising for declaring the virus endemic in the kingdom. To that end, Anutin has instructed his ministry to work with colleagues in the transport and tourism ministries to devise plans for the country's economic recovery. Yesterday, Thailand reported fewer than 10,000 new COVID infections for the fourth day in a row. The death toll is also the lowest reported since early March. While the 9,790 new infections reported yesterday are slightly higher than the 9,288 reported on Wednesday, we're splitting hairs here, and COVID-related deaths dropped to 54 yesterday from 82 reported the day before.
Choose your trip to your favorite island with 5-Star Marine. Go to 5starmarinephuket.com.
The governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand says he remains hopeful that 20 million holiday makers will travel to Thailand next year. Yurasak Subason says this will almost certainly be possible if China lifts its border restrictions by then. He adds that he expects tourism revenue to reach 80% of its 2019 level during 2023. Earlier this week, the Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha predicted that Thailand would welcome around 20 million international arrivals next year, provided COVID has been declared endemic and there are no new threats to tourism. So in order to get things going, Yutasak says the country should plan to attract between 7 and 10 million tourists this year, adding that there are positive signs this can be done. On May the 1st, the kingdom welcomed a total of 19,727 tourists, which rose to 15,000 and 14,000 on May the 2nd and 3rd, respectively. By contrast, Thailand welcomed between 10 and 12,000 a day last month before PCR testing on arrival was lifted. Data shows that as of May the 3rd, Thailand has received 853,165 tourists, with 74,000 of those coming from the UK, 63,000 from Germany, 56,000 from Russia, 51,000 from India, and 49,000 from the US. Yurasak is also optimistic about the low season, saying he believes Thailand could welcome 500,000 long-haul travelers this month. According to the TAT governor, a recent France Info report shows that searches for airline tickets to Thailand have quadrupled, while the most popular destination among Norwegians booking summer holidays is Bangkok. Thailand may have its critics, particularly in light of recent ham-fisted and bureaucratic attempts to revive tourism, but the kingdom remains one of the most popular destinations in the world. At least that's what a study by financial services provider Visa has found. Nation Thailand reports that Thailand sits at number 4 among the world's top tourism destinations, according to the Visa Global Travel Intention study. Thailand has come behind the US, the UK, and India, with 30% of those surveyed saying they chose Thailand to take a break. 25% say they went to Thailand to escape and relax, and 18% saying they chose Thailand for adventure and outdoor pursuits. According to the Nation Thailand report, the most popular destinations in the kingdom are Bangkok, Phuket, Chiang Mai, and Hua Hin, with tourists most interested in offerings such as traditional Thai massage and Thai food. Many also expressed interest in visiting spa resorts and experiencing Thai culture, including visits to Buddhist temples. Serene Gay, an ASEAN region manager at Visa, has welcomed the findings, saying Thailand's reopening will significantly help to revive its tourism sector. She adds that businesses in the kingdom should prepare to welcome the return of overseas visitors and to ensure that their businesses meet tourist demands, which may have changed since the pandemic. As an example, she says demands for enhanced financial security and contactless payments will be key to sustaining growth. The Thai office of one American beauty brand wants to push Thai schools to ditch their mandatory haircuts for students. This news comes after the brand Dove has started working with Girl Guides, Thailand's version of Girl Scouts, to empower women to reach their fullest potential. This week, Dove launched a campaign called #LetHerGrow and released an ad about the impact of forced haircuts on girls. The video shows young girls having their hair cut all in the same short bob and crying. It then showed older girls and women who all have their own unique hairstyles and are confident. The ad has sparked a debate in Thailand about whether forced haircuts are a violation of rights. A study by the British analytics firm YouGov found that 8 in 10 Thai high school students had their self-esteem negatively impacted by forced haircuts. Yet 74% of respondents said forced haircuts were still being used to discipline students. This is despite the fact that originally haircut rules changed 2 years ago, and making students get haircuts as punishment was outlawed. Now, under the official laws, students can wear their hair long as it is, quote, neat and tidy. The law also supposedly allows both boys and girls to either have long or short hair. In 2020, when a wave of youth protests swept through Thailand, mandatory haircuts were one thing students demanded to change. Another demand involved the school's strict dress codes. Thailand school uniforms have origins in the country's military history and originally were supposed to symbolize love for the country. And that's all for today's report from Thailand News Today. We'll be back on Monday, so until then, you're now up to date on the Thaiger.